Sir, my question is, how can we solve the conflict between human rights? And for example, there are many refugees, but people who live in countries usually don't like to accept refugees because of increasing crime.
Can you repeat?
How can we solve the conflict between human rights? For example, there are many refugees, but people who live in countries usually don't like to accept refugees because of increasing crime rates. Then how can we solve this kind of problems?
Okay. Under human rights law, refugees are under international protections for a couple of reasons. One is because they leave the country under abnormal circumstances. They don't, and those abnormal circumstances could be war. It could be internal conflict. It could be situations like in Venezuela where there is economic crisis, or it could be a situation in a country like DPRK where there is a massive human rights violations. So the people who live under these circumstances do not live out of intent or because they don't like the country and then they leave. They live out of the situations created there. So under international law, refugees has international protections. If you see around the world, the countries that have accepted refugees are not developed countries mostly. Okay, it's mostly the developing countries or mostly underdeveloped countries. If you see, the most number of refugees in the world now is in Bangladesh or in Turkey, which is like Bangladesh has more than 700,000 refugees and Turkey has more than 1 million refugees. So it's not the developed countries who take the refugees most. Canada takes mostly 5,000, US takes another 6,000. So Korea might not take even 60. So it's not the developed countries who are taking a burden for refugees. If you see, Kenya is taking like 1 million refugees. The Uganda is more or less the same. So if you see the biggest population of refugees, Thailand I think has around 100 to 200,000 refugees. So if you see around the world, the refugee population is not much in the developed countries. Developed countries do much screening before the refugees come, and I think the protection of the refugees is mostly done by the underdeveloped countries. And I think there is also nuances where refugees are linked with criminal activities. But that has been a narration. That has been a narration around in the modern time with the nationalist approach. That has been a narration. But if you see in many countries, even U.S. is based on basically built on by the migrants. If you say so, I think these nuances are created at a local level for different reasons. One could be political reasons. Others could be. And in some circumstances it could be right, but if you see a broader figure, if you see our broader figure, it doesn't necessarily correlate with crime and refugees because the countries which are hosting the most number of refugees, I think it's still okay there. And the countries which are not hosting the most number of refugees are creating these narratives, which is not that much helpful. So in the context of South Korea, I think South Korea does have a very, very strict refugees laws, which I don't know the number, but I don't think that's the large number of people come here to seek refuge, as compared to other countries which are hosting refugees, especially Turkey, Jordan, Kenya, and Bangladesh. Yeah, these are the countries, and Colombia now with Venezuela. Thank you.